A few years ago, we were recording the Bethel worship album in the Redwoods.
In that setting, being on Endor, like you can't not think about that.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. You feel like you're in another world. And obviously you feel like you're where the Ewoks lived. And so I was joking around with my buddies and the video guys there about, that was one of the jokes the whole week was like, we're leading worship at the Ewoks village.
Hello there, and welcome to the Rogue Worship Leader Podcast. This is the show where we sit down with worship and tech leaders, and we just hang out and nerd out. I know there's a lot of shows out there, a lot of worship podcasts. We talk about spiritual things, heady things, really aspirational things. This is not that. We're built a little bit different. We're just going to nerd out a little bit on some things and just have a good time. So my name is Scott. I'm your host today. And with me, I have Josh Baldwin, singer, songwriter, worship leader, Bethel music artist, probably most well known for songs like Stand in Your Love, Evidence, most recently Made for More. He has a tour coming up, Made for More tour. Please welcome Josh Baldwin. Josh, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Hey, it's so good to be here.
Josh, I'm really excited to talk to you today because I think you and I are a little bit of kindred spirits. We connected on Instagram about a couple years ago. You had just unprovoked, I think, sent me a reel. And I just want you to tell the story a little bit about that to kind of get people acquainted with Josh as like, not the worship leader, but maybe Josh, the closeted nerd, perhaps. I don't know.
I don't know. No one's ever accused me of that, but I'll take it. I wish I was
sweet.
I wish I was smart enough to be a closet nerd.
Nice.
But I think I was trying to remember.
You guys were recording. I think Bethel was recording in the Redwoods in California, right? A couple years back.
Well, and so even prior to that, I think I had already started following Rogue Worship on Instagram, just from your Star Wars post and putting together with worship, and I'm a big Star Wars fan, and then a lot of them are just funny. Honestly, one of the first ones was from my good friend, my buddy I grew up with in Charlotte, John McMillan.
No way.
Yeah, when you did King of My Heart, and it's like good. That was like, I think that was the first one, and so I think I even sent it to him. But then, so I was already following you, and I already knew, I knew the deal. And so a few years ago, we were recording the Bethel worship album in the Redwoods. Actually on the property, Jen Johnson's parents, her family, like it's their property. They're loggers. And so
really,
yeah, their dad,
that's
grew
crazy
up doing that. And so, it's part of her dad's family's. And so he actually cleared out a space for us to do that. And so we're up there just in that. And I've been up the Redwood. We used to live out there, and I'd been there before, and just, it's amazing. It's beautiful. You feel like you're in another world. And obviously you feel like you're where the Ewoks lived. And so I actually had nothing initially to do with that video. I was joking around with my buddies and the video guys there about, that was one of the jokes the whole week was like, we're leading worship at the Ewoks village. And so then they knew that I was like the main worship leader artist guy that was making the joke with them. So they did all that, and then sent, I think they initially did it with a Jen song with Holy Forever. And then they're like, we're not going to post it like that because Jen she might not like it, but I was like, put it with my song. I'll do it. Let's
there you go.
It. And then,
and was that Made for More?
No,
or was that not out yet?
That was before Made for More. That was Time and Time Again.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and so we did that, and then I told him, I was like, hey, before we post it, like I follow this guy that. This is like right up his alley. Let me even just see. I had no idea who you were and what. So I was like, I think I reached out and I was like, hey, I have this little piece of gold here that we've already got ready for you. If you want to,
dude, it was a gift. It was just, it was wrapped up perfectly. I didn't even have to contribute. You're like, let's do a collab post, and I'm just like, I barely collabed on this. It was all you, man. It was so good, so funny.
Fun.
But I was just gonna say, this is really crazy that we're here, and Ewok village. Big Star Wars fan, so I'm super excited to be able to lead worship for the Ewoks tonight.
Come through now like you did back then. Time and time and time again. Almighty fortress, my defense. Time and time and time again. You'll come through now like you did back then. Time and time again.
I would have been the same way. And I think a lot of worship leaders being in your shoes, maybe that are Star Wars fans, being in that setting, being on Endor, like you can't not think about that. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about that. Was that distracting for you? Was it something you were thinking about, or just a passing thought?
Oh, it was probably just a passing I mean, it was just a fun thing. That whole weekend was, it was it's always stressful when you're recording a live album stuff with tons of different artists. I mean, it's stressful enough on your own when you're doing your own thing, but like, for them and for the whole team when they're throwing in like all the different artists and worship leaders we have.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. But the great thing for us, I mean, I'm only doing like one or two songs. I think I was doing mine, and then I sang with Jen on her song. And so other than that, I'm just hanging out in the just laying around on the, we didn't have any places to go. We're just out in the middle of nowhere. So we're just kind of all hanging around. And I remember just taking it all in and everything. But it was, most people were working way too hard to joke too much about it. I was probably one of the few that was that actually had time to joke around about it. But it was cool. It's before that, 3 years before that, I think I did a music video of my own, one of my songs, Into the Wild, and my son was in it, and we did it where he was running through the Redwoods at one scene, because we were about 2.5, 3 hours from the Redwoods when we lived there, so we would go there a few times, and it's just it's magical.
What a great setting, man!
It's crazy.
Super cool. To just see all that and the majesty of it all.
It's amazing, and I think we have that video that lives forever on YouTube. Like my son when he was 8, running through the Redwood forest.
So cool.
It's a special place, but it's even more, when you can also kind of look at it and think about the movie and all that and just go to that. It's cool to just kind of escape and be like, oh, because it does feel like you're on another planet. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel absolutely. If you've never been to the Redwood Forest, you feel like a dinosaur or something is about to come around the other side of a tree. I mean, it's just wild. So,
That's awesome, man. Cool. Well, Josh, I think for most people that are listening that may not know you, they're probably living under a rock somewhere. But you've had a great you've had a great year, man. Just I think God's been blessing you, and your songs have been fantastic. You have an EP that just came out on Friday, right? Full Grown Man.
Yeah, September 5th.
Yeah, so I listened to the 5 songs that are on there, and I have to say, dude, I loved the narrative approach, kind of the storytelling approach to your songwriting there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. I wanted to kind of go back to basics a little bit and kind of introduce you, because I feel like we skipped that part. But for those that don't know Josh, you are a worship leader, singer-songwriter. Tell me a little bit about how you cut your teeth into leading worship, and then how that kind of moved on to writing songs for the church.
I grew up in church. My dad's a pastor, but he also led worship, played music, still does. And so I grew up around it. I grew up doing that. I started playing drums when I was a kid. I think I started playing
pastor's kid who's a drummer.
Pretty typical.
Classic.
I was 12, 13-year-old, playing drums in my church. But it was a little church in North Carolina. It wasn't like it is now, as far as even I feel like even small churches now have you have to be a decent musician and be used to in-ears. And have the click and play with it. That was not the way. this is the late 80s, early 90s. So
you probably still had transparencies for
we definitely had transparency. I think I had just my monitor was a little hotspot, not even
on
wedge,
a stand, probably
on a stand in my ear, and I'm playing a real drum kit with no shield.
Classic.
And just And on stage, and the bass player just has like a little amp next to him, and that's like the sound that's going out to the whole church.
Dang, dude. That was back in like the Worship Wars days.
Oh, yeah,
right?
and
Like
that
when
was
drums are evil. Like,
yeah. Well, most churches not. We were one of the only churches that. But my dad would play acoustic, but he mostly in those days played piano, and we had an actual grand piano, and that's what he played.
Nice.
And then we had a lady who played keys, and she played it. That was our only cool instrument. We had a Yamaha DX7 back then, but that was
sweet.
Before it was like, now it's like oh my God, it's cool. And back then it was just like, there was just the keys. But
just what you had.
Yeah, but that's where I got started. And then when I was in youth group and I was a teenager, I started picking up the acoustic guitar and leading worship in my youth group. Just kind of honestly, I loved music. I wanted to do it, but I loved playing drums. But my youth pastor honestly was like, hey, we need a worship leader in our youth. We were just listening to CDs and tapes at that time. And he was like, I know it's in, your dad does it. And you play drums, And I'd started to sing a little bit, like, we knew at least I could like carry a tune. So I just picked up guitar and learned a few chords, and that's kind of where I started leading worship when I was, 16.
Nice.
And then that's how it all started. And then just I kept doing, I kept playing drums. I went to Lee University. I went to college for 2 years. Didn't really want to go to college. I just kind of went to college because my buddies went, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to do anything that I thought needed a college education, and especially too because I kind of just wanted to lead worship and do that. But that wasn't back then. This is the late 90s. It wasn't like there weren't many colleges where you could just go and like actually major in that. At least you could major in like music ministry or choir direct. That was like what they had.
The more official things.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to be. Yeah. I basically want to be in a band. I wanted to do that, but I went for a couple years and I didn't go to class. I had a bad GPA and I was on academic probation. But I loved Jesus, and I would just stay in my dorm room and listen to worship albums and play and try to write songs. And I finally dropped out, and then went to like a year or so later, I went to a ministry school in Charlotte, and that's where I like kind of leaned into like, okay, I want to be a worship leader. And I was 21, I think, when I did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, fellow college dropout. That's
awesome.
Good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is I went
go to school, kids. I'm sorry. That was
I
bad
know.
influence.
I led worship a couple months ago at, I think it was Kentucky Christian University. And like the whole volleyball team came and set up in the balcony, and it was just an acoustic night. So it was very like personal. I could joke around and talk, and I ended up talking about my college experience there and was telling the volleyball team, look, you don't really need school to do what I'm doing. It was funny. I was joking. I was like, obviously stay in school, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But,
so you started your songwriting career in college. You started writing music then?
Yeah. Well, I said college. I was dabbling and thinking about it in college and trying my hand at it, but honestly, it started when I went to ministry school in Charlotte.
Okay.
I went to the school that, actually that's where I met John Mark McMillan. He was at the school there with me. He was a second-year student, I think, when I was a first-year student. Jonathan Helser, if anybody knows the Helsers from Raise a Hallelujah and No Longer Slaves, all that. Yep. We all went to the same school together. They were like second and third year students when I was a first year, and I would play drums with them. We all were go to chapels together and stuff.
Yeah.
But so I got there, and like guys like that, they were writing songs, and a lot of the other worship leaders were writing songs there. So that's where I really jumped into it. And that school, like to lead worship in the chapels, you had to lead your own songs. They wanted you. They actually wanted to like just really push people into creativity, and they were just like, we feel like this is a big thing for us, and so they just kind of forced you to. And I was like, well, I know I'm supposed to. I'm a worship leader. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I guess I have to write a song. And so I honestly just started writing songs because I I wanted to get on stage and lead worship, which I wouldn't necessarily condone and like, suggest that that's what you should do to get on. But I think it was great because it was like it was the push that I needed. It was like the fire that I needed lit under me. And I started to do it, and the more I did it, the more I fell in love with song and realized like, oh, this is actually what I'm called to do as well. Like, I'm a worship leader. I want to do this with my life, but also I feel like I'm supposed to write songs too. And so that's how I really got into it and fell in love with it.
Yeah, no, that's a great story, man. And it's not, I don't think it's anything to, sneer at, to say I wanted to be on stage. So, I wrote songs so I could be up there, but because God can use anything, right? Like, he can use any motivation. I think, my motivation for even joining the worship team when I was a kid, I went to a Pentecostal church when I was like 15, 16. And I just I loved the church, but I thought it was weird. And I wanted to get out of the weirdness, and I wanted to get out of the greeting time. So I was like, well, if I'm in the band, I don't have to interact with any of the people in the, you know what I mean? And that's a horrible motivation. But I think, probably a lot of kids cut their teeth in worship that way. Yeah. But God can use that.
I think the Lord sees the heart too. I think, because I think there are times when people are like, I want to do this, or I want to get up there, and I'm anointed to this or called to this, and I need to be used. And it's like, you can kind of see the heart, like, hey, actually, why don't you wait a bit and before we throw you up on stage, and let's let the Lord do some things. And I think that's good. And then I think, in my situation, I'm not saying, my heart has definitely not been great many times, but in that situation, I felt it was more like, no, I actually know that I'm called to this, and I really feel like this is what the Lord wants for me. And I just felt like the Lord was like, hey, if their rules are you have to write a song and be up there, I'm using that to show you that not only are you called to that, you're actually called to this too, but you don't realize it yet. And so I'm actually forcing you into this. And so, but I think there's times when the Lord's like, maybe, like you said, maybe you want to get away from some of the other weirdness. I'm going to get up there. And the Lord's like, well, you're actually called to be up there. So I'm going to use that and kick you.
I'm going to make you more weird.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to make you more weird and kick you into your destiny. So
no, it kind of, speaking of motivations, I know we all as worship leaders have different motivations for either starting or continuing what we do in worship. But part of the gist of my online presence with Rogue Worship Leader is kind of, it has a dual meaning. And it's not just Rogue because that's like a Star Wars-y kind of thing. And I sort of named it after Rogue Leader, the old X-Wing video game from the 2000s. But I had a double meaning because it was also, I think sometimes as worship leaders, there's the main way of doing things, right? The mainstream way of doing things. But then I think each worship leader has a hot take that they're like, I'm not going to do that, because everybody else is doing that. So I'm going to go against the grain and do it this way. So kind of, is there any, in your career as a worship leader, as a songwriter, is there anything that you've kind of gone against the grain and challenged the status quo, maybe gone rogue a little bit?
I think I don't know if this is going rogue, but I don't know. Maybe it is. Sometimes, and nowadays with social media and everything, it's easy to compare, or also maybe not be yourself as much because you see oh, that's hitting, or that's a thing. I want to be more like that. And I think I've always wanted to just be myself, no matter whatever it was. And I grew up Pentecostal church. I grew up, the ministry schools that I went to was very flowy, very, stepping out and, the wild stuff that sometimes gets judged. I'm a part of Bethel music and Bethel church. Good Lord, you could Google all that. And see. So I'm surrounded by that kind of, wild out, just worship, which I love and is actually my heart. But I'm also very chill and laid back. And when I lead worship, I'm mostly just... I'm not moving much, I'm standing there. My songs aren't necessarily a lot like the rest of Bethel's song, and I think in times where I've wanted to maybe thought I don't even fit in with the people around me. I feel no, I'm actually, and that in a sense, going rogue, I'm going to just be this is who I'm supposed to be and I'm called to be. And and that's indeed, and that's very needed in my space and where I'm at. And so even just like, I think when I think about even the songs I write and even what just practically like what keys I write, like just the fact that I sing low, like nowadays I feel like so many worship leaders just sing just in the rafters, which that's their voice. I mean, that's great. Be yourself, sing high. But like I've almost had the temptation, and I've done it at times where I'm like, I gotta sing high. I gotta, all tons of energy and all this. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. That might be needed at times, but also don't be cool with like just I sing low. That's the way I sing. Like I'm just gonna
you're a baritone, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean into it and then get the dad singing with me, and like that's great.
Dude,
and so I think
awesome.
and when I think of it like that, I'm like, I don't going rogue for me. I'm not like too. There's not many hills I'm gonna die on, but like I am gonna die on the hill of like, hey, I do want to be myself, and this is who the Lord's made me to be. And when I'm fully like authentic myself, like that's when I feel like the Lord can use me the most. And I think that rings true for everyone. And I mean, there's things here and there where I'm like, hey, we don't need to fill the space in every part of a worship set. There's things like that where I'm like, guys, like, it's fine if there's like an awkward silence in between songs here and there, or sometimes I'm like, hey, worship leader, just lead worship. We don't need you to preach.
Yes.
Like let the pastor preach later. Like, and I feel like sometimes, I think there's times too when there's things that need to be said. And I think even the more and more I lead my own nights or go out on a concert, I'm doing my own tour or whatever, I'm talking more. I'm the only one up there talking.
Right.
And so I'm definitely filling space here and there, but I also don't want to do it just for the sake of, like, especially on a Sunday morning, I'm like, I'll go to churches sometimes and I'm like, gosh, can we just worship? Like, like after every song,
yes.
The worship leader is like, guys, I just want to, and just, I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not saying, it's not like they're not saying great things, but it's just, like, hey, we're about to get a message here in a minute, and I'm sure it's going to be great. Can we just, like, worship right now? Can we only have, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes?
We have 20 minutes. Like, come on.
Like, they're already cutting time really short on us, so don't waste it talking.
Dude, modern services, like 3 songs up front, and then, like, that's it. It's just, like, I'm craving that more music, so that real estate is very rare. So it's just, like, I'm the same way, man. I'm just like, yo, shut up and sing.
So, I mean, I say go rogue. I feel like, there's sometimes I'm like, and I'll go to churches all the time and visit, and they're like, hey, if you want to say anything in between, I'm like, I'm probably not gonna, unless I just feel something, and I definitely will. And I think that's important to like speak out. Just like, hey, or if there's some ministry time or something, right?
Yeah, the Holy Spirit leads something on you, and you got to go with it.
But I'm not gonna I tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm not just gonna like fill time and talk just for the sake of filling time. Like honestly, I'd rather just sing and lead worship and just, I'd rather worship. So that might be like a rogue thing, but
we'll see. There's so much to unpack there, Josh, with just everything you said.
You could have a whole podcast on that.
Oh yeah. We have like 3-4 episodes planned out. My goodness. I think that I resonate with just 100% everything that you just said. I think on the talking part, there is this. So I'm in the marketing world. So, I'm in the business side of things. When I'm not leading worship, I have to be on LinkedIn, unfortunately, because I do social media stuff. And I see like the thing that worship leaders do on stage, where they're just like, the other day I was sitting down in my backyard and I was looking at this branch fell down, and it just reminded me of blah 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 blah. And like it's like the same thing that people on LinkedIn do, where they're like, I got married last week. Let me tell you what that taught me about B2B sales. It's just like they're taking like one thing and trying to make it about another. And it's like, it's fine. I think if the Lord laid that on your heart, I'm not trying to disparage that, but it is tough, because it's just like sometimes those moments aren't, kind of fully fleshed out and fully thought out. It's kind of an in the moment thing. Yeah. And, as someone, like I used to stutter as a kid, so I'm like deathly afraid. I'm over it now. I had speech therapy, all that kind of stuff. But like, I'm definitely afraid of doing something off the cuff and having people listen to me try to like babble and catch my, try to figure out my words. So it's like, if you're gonna do that, maybe plan it out a little bit. Maybe have something that way it can be a little bit fluid in the moment, that we can get on to the next song, keep praising the Lord. So
that makes
definitely
sense.
no, on that side of things, I agree. Kind of what you spoke about in your space, kind of being in that, trying to promote your music, you have new songs coming out, new EPs, new albums, and you have to, your producers are in your ears, like telling you got to promote this. And that probably feels like difficult. You got producers in your ears telling you to sing higher because they need more energy. And that must be difficult. And you're just like, hey man, like lay off, let me do me,
Yeah, no, totally. I feel, I'm definitely in a good flow, in a good space now where, I'm able to lean into all, even just with this last album, the EP that we just released, it's more of even the song, like singer-songwriter song, they're not like, no one's going to do any of these songs on Sunday morning. And I get that. Maybe one. Salvation song, I think is a great altar call song. But and I knew that, right. These were like specifically like, hey, these are down this lane of the singer-songwriter about songs about Jesus, but just storytelling kind of songs. And they're not going to be on the radio. They're probably not going to be at church. But I could also lean into more of like, I'm going to just sing low, but I think I'm very grateful about this. I feel like I've built enough, I don't want to say audience, but just like I've done it long enough that people kind of know this is my vibe and who I am. So I can lean into it even more. And even
so cool.
I have the freedom from label and people and all that to just like fully be myself, because I've leaned into it for so long. So that's not like a big thing. Actually, with this album was the first time I fully felt like I can just lean into all of that and just kind of just
really cool.
Be, my alt country self and sing low. I'll drop the keys. I actually dropped keys on songs and just I leaned into the deep low stuff. So, but there's been times when it's been like, we need more. And there are times when it's like, yeah, we do need more. Like I can sing up there, so let's go for it. Let's have the energy and do it.
Yeah. So. Inject that into it. Yeah, no, for sure. And speaking on behalf of dads, because I am one, and also worship leaders in that bass baritone range, I think I might have even told you this before at one point in our back and forths on Instagram DMs, but I have to really say I appreciate your range, because I think it's not only it's authentically Josh, it's also accessible. Yeah. And I think that's, there's this constant push for years as a worship leader. I was like, God, please extend my range. I want to be able to hit Wickham and, Tomlin ranges. And for me, it was a pride thing. For me, I got sick of detuning, like dropping my Ableton stems, 4 or 5 semitones, because like it was just so different for the band, and it was almost like transposing a song for like a female lead, like taking a male to female. It was just such a drastic shift. I mean, seriously, all these like top 40 worship songs, I'm dropping 4 or 5 semitones. And I think every Josh Baldwin song I've ever done at church, you probably have to raise it up
a little bit, don't you?
No, not at all. I've left in the original key. It's comfortable. Awesome. It's accessible. And like, I think there's something to be said for kind of living in the space. It's the whole, grow where God planted you, right? That's the thing that we say, but it's really just embracing who you are and realizing that you are enough in God's eyes with the talents and the abilities that he's given you. And you don't have to conform to every other person's vocal range or style or even demeanor on stage. So that's really cool to hear.
No, I think that's real. And it makes sense. I mean, back in the day, most of the guys, Phil and Tomlin, they do sing high. And that was like, some of the only people we were hearing do songs. So you just kind of like think like, oh gosh, I guess if I don't sing high, I can't do this, or I can't lead worship or something. But it's not their fault. But I think just you have to be yourself. You have to this is what you've been given, so use it and go for it.
What I've found throughout the years in trying to push myself to conform, I think you and our vocal ranges kind of live in this space where it is accessible not just for the guys. Maybe we leave the tenors out, maybe they're struggling a little bit, It's like, you can sing the octave up. Go ahead.
Right.
Have fun.
It's
But,
the women,
I,
it's the ladies that don't like me because I do the octave jumps and all that.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, apart from the octave jumps, I think if you don't do those, I think they can kind of hang because they sing the octave above us.
Yeah.
They can kind of hang, and so I found that as I was leading worship, and if it had an octave jump in it, or if any song, not just yours, I'd pitch it down. But I would try to push myself and just try to get, and it was a numbers thing. It was all in my head. I was like, I want to try to work my way up to -3 instead of -5 semitones on Ableton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny.
When I did that though, I got complaints that the women weren't able to sing with me. Cause you're right. Once you do the octave jump, then you kind of lose them.
Yeah.
And so, and you're on maybe the same octave as they are now, but they're having to sing really low and they can't do it. So I think it's just something to be said for, it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
It's where is your vocal range? Where's the majority of your congregation's vocal range? Because I just don't think there's any such thing as a congregational key. I think everybody's voices are different, So
Oh, yeah. And
it's
I
got to be
think-
room for us all.
I think too, I mean, as a whole, most places I go, the women are always going to sing in worship. You don't, for the most part, women are singing more than men, and they are a lot more comfortable. And so when I started feeling years ago when I was like, gosh, all my stuff's I'm singing lower. And then I'm like, well, I had dads and guys be like, dude, I love it. I can actually sing your songs. And I'm like, oh, well, if I can make it even more comfortable for the men, I'm not worried about the women are always going to worship and sing, but men men are going to be uncomfortable singing sometimes. So I'm like, well, if they're comfy, then I'm good because
awesome.
I'm not going to worry about the women. They're going to go for it. So yeah,
that's cool. Good. No, I love that, man. That's such a great approach. I'm glad you kind of realized that as well and kind of leaned into it too.
Yeah.
So,
well, I have no choice too, so I'm not going to sing.
Right.
High.
Yeah. You never prayed for God to extend your vocal range at all?
No, I didn't. I didn't care.
This is just a me thing.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I want to pivot a little bit because we were talking a lot about worship, and I love that we're talking about some things that normally don't kind of see in the worship space. We're nitty gritty, down to earth, kind of logistical stuff. I kind of want to do the other side of things. We're hanging out, but I also want to nerd out. And so obviously I got a Star Wars page. I'm a huge, you can see my background. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. You said you were a Star Wars nerd. So we can start there, but we don't have to just nerd out about Star Wars. We can nerd out about gear. We can nerd out about songwriting process, whatever. But I do have to ask you, because my audience is going to want to know, let's get to know Josh, the nerd, right? And let's see, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? Is it sequels? Is it prequels? Is it the original trilogy?
Yeah.
What's your all-time favorite one?
Gosh, all-time favorite. I'm definitely partial to the original trilogy just because, I'm old. I remember when the Return of the Jedi came out. I was a kid.
No way.
Yeah. I was born in 79. So the first one was already out. And then the second one was what, 80 or
80. Yep.
80?
Yeah.
So, but the third one I can remember
Yeah, you would have been 4.
Yeah, I just remember seeing on TV, commercial, all that thing.
Yeah.
I think Return of the Jedi probably is my favorite, and nice. Honestly, maybe just for more nostalgia reasons than anything. Yep. I don't know. A New Hope is also really special, and just the way it ends, and the them blowing up the Death Star, all that. There's that one, but. If I'm just thinking what one is the best, when watching it in a theater, what it blew my mind, probably Force Awakens was the one where I was oh, let's go, because I think too because I didn't care for the three in the middle. What do you call those?
The prequels.
The prequels.
Okay.
I wasn't a huge fan, and I liked the first one, seeing Anakin beat a boy. That was cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They felt a little hokey to me. But I think the coolest part about that was that they were made when the CG, all the stuff was
groundbreaking technology.
Yeah, just better than it was in the original. But I think the Force Awakens, because it was the new batch. And I was so nervous, are they going to be good? Is this going to mess up the whole thing? Or is it? And so going to the theater and seeing the whole Kylo Ren, like being Han's son, all this stuff was like, it just blew
Yeah.
my mind. And then ending with like Luke and all that, being out there. So I think that one was like, if I just think about which one like blew my mind when I first saw it, this was probably that one. But
Yeah, that was 2015. Did you have kids then? Were you taking the kids to go see it?
I didn't take the kids to see that one. They were, I had kids. They were, 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 3. We lived in California for that one.
Okay.
But yeah, they since then they've gotten into it, and they're big Star Wars fans.
that's cool.
And have seen all of them. And there was a time 3 or 4 years ago when they would just watch, a couple times a year they would watch all of them. But mostly
that's cool.
mostly the newer ones,
Yeah.
But
No, that's great.
they're big Star Wars fans. My son Bear has Star Wars posters all in his room, and he's got
cool.
he's got a New Hope poster. He has
Yes.
Force Awakens posters and the Last Skywalker all that. So he's and he has tons of Legos that are all mostly
Yes.
Star Wars Legos and all that. So
Yes, gotta love the Legos.
he's a big Mandalorian fan too. He loves
Yeah.
the Mandalorian. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was such a fantastic
That
show.
was
What did you
great.
think of the did you like that?
I did. So I've seen the first 2 seasons. Is it has there 3? This is
There's 3, yeah.
I'm showing you how little I know. So my wife and the kids have seen all of them. I'm bad about like just not staying locked in on shows, period.
Yeah.
So I did watch the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, I think. And then I haven't picked up, and I loved it. I've loved all the extra, Star Wars movies, Rogue One and all that. That one's great. And
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
even
yeah.
Han Solo, even Solo, I like that one.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched all the shows. Like I want it.
It's a lot, man.
It is a lot. It's getting so, and some of them are, you hear they're awesome, and some of them they're horrible, and all, So I want to. My family, they've watched Andor the first. They watched the first season. I think they're starting second. I haven't finished episode 2 of season 1 of Andor.
Yeah.
So
it's a slow burn. It's a tough one to
that's what I've
get
heard.
started.
That's what
Yeah.
I've heard, and
But it's
bad
so
about
worth it.
I've heard the second season was pretty awesome, but I need
Yeah.
to. I'm bad. It's not because I don't like it or don't like Star Wars. It's because I'm like that with every show. Like it's
Yeah.
hard. I'm a hard sell. I'm like I'd rather
Yeah.
just get on YouTube and watch YouTube golf. Like honestly,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it is tough, man. It's an investment, and you're balancing family, you're balancing your ministry, you're balancing your career. It's a lot. Yeah,
There's a lot.
I totally get that.
You're running out.
But
of
no,
time.
that's cool that you keep up with it as much as you can. The family is involved in it. That's awesome.
We're probably and I joke about it with my friends because I have tons of friends who are massive Lord of the Rings fans.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I like, it's fine. I'm not like a massive Lord of the Rings. I joke with them. I'm like I think I'm too shallow for Lord of the Rings. I'm like I just give me Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're
Give
like
me lightsabers.
Yeah,
give me
I'm like-
explosions. Yeah.
And they're like, Lord of the Rings is so deep. I'm like, yeah, it is. You're right. There's way more going on there. Which now the whole Star Wars world has expanded.
Yes, it's
and
evolved into that.
There are a lot more detail, but still, Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece and a novel and all the things.
Yeah.
But I'm still like, I'd rather just watch Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. And I kind of, my family and I went on kind of a Lord of the Rings kick because we're a homeschooling family.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the
and
kids
you're
are
Christian
readers.
homeschool, you had to.
Christian homeschool, you have to. So, the kids are reading them and then we watch the movies. And I'm always like, every time we watch the movies, I'm like, I'd rather be watching Star Wars right now.
They're
every
amazing.
Single time.
Yeah, they're amazing, but they're long and boring. Let's be honest.
They're long.
Guys.
They are. And then I'm very detail oriented, but like I save room in my brain for like the details that matter. And so I can handle Star Wars details because Star Wars is a pool that can either be deep or shallow. And you can live in any of those parts of the pool and be accepted as a Star Wars fan.
Totally.
And I feel like Tolkien fans, Lord of the Rings, you got to hang out in the deep end if you want to be taken seriously. It is. But I will say, not that you need another show to put on the list, my wife last year, she watched the Rings of Power show on Amazon
yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to watch that again and show it to the kids. And she's like, hey, do you want to watch it too? I was like, same thing. I was like, I'd rather watch The Mandalorian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I made the decision, like, let's sit down, let's give it a chance. And dude, it was well done. It was very well done.
Yeah.
And I think for me, what Rings of Power did, and I know there are people that are like, oh, that's not canon. It's not, Tolkien wouldn't have wanted this, blah, blah, blah. But for me, and the same goes for Star Wars fans that didn't like the sequels because they undid a lot of the canon that was already established. But for me, you had mentioned The Force Awakens, and for me, Rings of Power did the same thing to me that Force Awakens did. It kind of awakened something in you where you're just like, oh, wait, this is like actually really cool. And it brings it back up into the forefront of pop culture. And so you can invest back in it. And so I really liked it. And then after we watched the Rings of Power show, we went and watched the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh. But what we did with that is instead of just watching the whole movie, we kind of broke that up into chunks, like 1 hour chunks, and watched it in that same time slot that we watched Rings of Power. So it was much more digestible then.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
But yeah, totally feel you with the Lord of the Rings as well. For Star Wars though, like I think when you're a Star Wars fan, there's two things that tell a lot about a Star Wars fan, and it's which is your favorite movie, which mine is also Return of the Jedi. So I'm 100% with you on that. Love the original trilogy first and foremost, because I don't look it, but I'm 40, so I'm old as well. And so I remember the original trilogy as well. And Return of the Jedi was my intro into the Star Wars universe as well. But I think the trilogy that you like or the movie that you like says a lot about you as a Star Wars fan, but also your favorite character says a lot about you as well.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite character in Star Wars?
And I feel like sometimes it changes. I think
that's fair.
I mean, growing up, it's obviously been Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
And I feel like he'll always be it. But I don't know. I think I'm also a massive, Han Solo fan. So it was always
Scruffy
Luke.
nerd.
Yeah. It was always Luke, and I think that's probably still number one. But yeah, there was something about Han that I like, and I think he aged better for me. So older Luke in The Last Jedi, he was great, but I don't know, there was something about him that just annoyed me. I'm like, I liked you better young. but older Han was cool. I liked him cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
nice.
But I would probably say Luke, but that's probably just because I'm older and he was the one that I loved when I was a kid. My kids would probably say, that Ren or maybe even not Rey. They would probably say Rey or Kylo Ren was like their favorite.
Yeah.
But
yep. Well, yeah, they're growing up with the sequel trilogy now, so they're kind of latching onto those, which that's fair. Like we grew up with the original trilogy, and Luke was the classic hero, man.
Yeah.
He was just my wife doesn't like him. It's funny because she says he's too whiny in the first movie, and then toward the end, it's like, well, that's the hero's journey, man. He was a nerd, awkward, especially for us nerds. Like he was awkward, he was whiny. And then he became a full-fledged
then he was kind of cocky,
kicking butt. Yeah. Exactly. No, that's awesome. I'm glad we connect on that as well. So yeah, we talked about Star Wars. We talked about Lord of the Rings. Is there anything else you nerd out about? Like, I know you're a big golf fan, right? Or you play golf?
Yeah. No, I would probably golf, and I mean, gear-wise. Yeah, I mean golf and guitars. Golf and guitars.
Yes,
probably even more like acoustic guitars than anything. But yeah, I have a lot of. I mean, with the guitar stuff, I geek out on just like my tone and the guitars that I'm playing and my pickups and pedals here and there and stuff like that. I'll nerd out on that as much as. Yeah, I do. I was gonna say
it's fun.
I mean, I'm not much of a gear nerd or anything except for like acoustic stuff.
Yeah.
And then outside of music, it would definitely be golf, and I watch a lot of YouTube golf. That's what I watch most of the time. If I'm on an airplane, I'm probably watching YouTube golf, or I'm looking at gear and golfing gear and all that stuff, and just
clubs,
clubs and all the things that way. And I've been doing that's been the case for years. I mean, I grew up I grew up loving sports more than music, honestly. And even, I mean, honestly, still all the only podcasts I listen to are sports podcasts. Like that's it. And so I'm a big sports guy. So that's probably my. Nice. If I nerd out on anything, it's that. I actually used to have a sports podcast.
Did funny. You really?
I did.
Oh yeah, you did. You did it with somebody else, right?
With my buddy Mac Brock. Yeah, because we're worship guys, but we actually met in Charlotte, like in a fantasy football thread, and so
that's great.
Yeah, we had a little sports podcast that we did for like 2 years.
I remember that. Yeah,
which
that's
no
cool.
one. We didn't have any time for it. No one listened to it. I mean, who's going to listen to two worship leaders talk about sports? But it was awesome,
man.
It was fun to just do that.
No, absolutely. You'd be surprised. I think you might have had gold there because I was told one time by a buddy of mine who was another creative, and we worked together at the same marketing agency for a while, and he said that creativity is really just taking two things that don't belong together and putting them together. And so, I mean, that's what I did with Rogue, but you did that with the podcast. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of worship leaders out there that, maybe I'll get some DMs like, hey, bring back the sports podcast.
We need to bring it back. Bring back Good at Sports. Every once in a while, I'll have people like when I'm out on the road, like be like, dude, when is this podcast coming out or coming back? Yeah. But we just don't, we did have listeners but we didn't, we didn't make any money, and both of us have real jobs, and we're like, we don't have time to do that. Like, we didn't have time to produce it, and it wasn't doing well enough where we could get someone to do all that. So we're like, listen, we can't do this. So, but it was fun.
A valiant effort. Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah,
that's awesome. No, that's cool to see that you got take your passions and merge them together, and then bring in a buddy who's the same. You'd be surprised. It's not just an audience. It's about creating a community.
Yeah.
At least that's like what I'm doing it for. And it's like you'd be surprised once you put yourself out there like that, how many more people there are like you, and you find your tribe.
Yeah,
and you get those people that are like, hey, I love golf and worship too. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, definitely happens with golf. I mean, obviously, tons of musicians and worship leaders and all that are getting into golf now. And so I'll go places. Yeah. People will see like where I'm going to be like on my tour or whatever. And I'll get DMs of like, dude, I'm a worship leader in town. We play golf at this course. If you bring in your clubs, do you want to come? That kind of thing. So
that's awesome.
And every once in a while we do it, but it's awesome to connect with people outside of what you're known for or you do. And so
absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of this podcast too. Yeah, definitely. I want to nerd out with you about the guitars for a bit, because you are a big Martin guy, correct?
Yeah, I do. I have 3 Martins. Nice. Martins, 2 that I play a lot. I have the oldest one is a OM21. It's a smaller body, and I've had that for years. And 2 of them are Sunburst, the 2 that I play all the time. That one, and then I have an HD28 that's a bigger jumbo body that I love. Probably my favorite guitar. And and then I have an old 76 12-string that's right there. If you're watching with us, but those are my 3 Martins that I play those the most when I'm traveling. I have an old Yamaha 1970 Yamaha that was my dad's old acoustic, and it's
that's cool.
Built is when Yamaha was kind of copying, and I think they got sued for it. They were copying
the lawsuit
Gibson.
era.
Yeah, I have like one of those. And,
no way, that's great. Was that like the 70s or something?
Yeah, it's I'm leaving the mic here to show you. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is very unprofessional.
He's stepping away from the mic.
Yeah. So this is
this was
beautiful. This was my dad's. He gave it to me, and I used to play it all the time. I had a pickup in it, and I played it, and then I took it with me on a Bethel tour to Asia.
That's cool.
And it got the head snapped right off.
No way.
Yeah. So I
just like a Gibson.
Yeah. So I had to. I got it rebuilt. It doesn't play as well as it used to, but it's still great. But
that's very cool. Yeah, it's got J45 kind of vibes.
Yeah, a little very like nice. A hummingbird kind of.
Like a hummingbird. Yeah.
And then the guitar. I have a Taylor because I'm a worship leader, so I have to have a Taylor.
Yes, gotta have a Taylor.
But it actually is. This is. Thank God for a rolling chair. This is 7
Is that an 8? Oh, 714.
714 CE. I got this in 2004, and it was given to me
beautiful.
by the church that I was leading worship at in the mountains of North Carolina.
way.
And
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's a great. It actually sounds great, and it's got cracks all in it, but the pickup is messed up and doesn't work. But I'm gonna get a new pickup in it, and I want to start playing it more. And all of my guitars, I have the LR bags, the Anthem pickups in them, and I
was
love it.
just going to ask. Yeah.
I
love LR bag stuff.
I have that, and then I got the new Hi-Fi Duet pickup in my HD28.
Yeah.
And I'm still the verdict's out. I thought it's supposed to be better than the Anthem. I don't know if it is for me.
Is that a microphone and a
It's the microphone
piezo?
and no, but not. It's a new microphone, the silo microphone that they do, and then it's their new hi-fi pickup instead of piezo, which is better. The pickup's better than the piezo. I just don't think the silo mic is better than the Anthem mic. So
no, the Anthem mic is
it's just
phenomenal.
great, and I just like take it and roll it all the way to the mic, and that's the way. People always ask me like, what's your sound?
settings?
Like, and I'm like, get that Anthem mic, get that Anthem pickup, and roll it all the way to the mic. And my pedal board, I have the old LR Bags Para DI that I use, and it's just
classic,
solid. And that's
a good pairing.
Yeah, I run it through. I have a Strymon reverb pedal that's actually I took off my electric pedal board and put it on there, and then I run it through an LR Bags session pedal that's more like compression. So that's my whole setup with my acoustics, and
nice.
Yeah, I love it. And then I
It's
have
a
some
great tone,
electrics,
man.
but thank you.
No, your tone is fantastic, and I was going to ask because I have the Anthem. I think I have the Anthem like the lower and the SL or SE, like whatever. Where you don't have that knob that you can blend the mic and the piezo, but it I think it only takes like the low end, like below 100, and puts that to the piezo for some clarity, and then the rest is the pickup. So I know that pickup or that microphone sounds phenomenal.
It's so good.
Is that? I mean, obviously, when you're recording, you're doing like condensers, and you're not. Or maybe you're pulling a little bit off of that pickup. But probably
sometimes we'll plug it in and just you have it, but most of it, is just mic'd. But I mean, I have albums that we've taken stuff from the live me. Actually, you know what? The song Evidence, that recording. There's only one recording of it, and it was taken from. I did it live at church at Bethel. And then I sent it, and our friend Ed Cash produced it and wrote it with him. And he took like the recording we did it live at Bethel. He took that and kind of built things around that to produce it. And and didn't keep anything from it. It just kind of like he threw it in the session, and that's like where we built it. And he said, he was like, dude, and I went and I re-sang everything, and everything was redone. The bass, drums, electric. But because I mean, it's not a live version of it. It was actually the radio version is all that. But the guitar, the acoustic, he's like, dude, I went and tried to redo your acoustics. I was going to play it and he was also going to maybe have me come in and just redo them and with a mic. And he was like, but nothing, it didn't feel better. Like the vibe of like the way you were playing and the way it even sounded. It was on my Martin OM21 with my LR Bags Anthem, playing at Bethel. He was like, it just felt so good. So that's the acoustic. If you ever listen to Evidence, that song, it's me playing live at Bethel, just through
crazy.
DI. And it just that Anthem mic sounds so good, and the whole song starts on me playing the acoustics. And so
I was gonna say that's a phenomenal.
It's kind of crazy that's like
that is great.
That it's just but that's like that's the one time I think. I don't know that it's like that on anything else. That I've done,
no. Yeah, you usually dub that back again in the studio. And it's like that acoustic sounds a little bit too good to have been played.
No, totally
live. It doesn't have that quacky kind of bridge pickup sound to it.
I don't know that any. I think maybe there might be a few Bethel albums, the live albums, where they kept the acoustics or my acoustic, but that's all live. But that's the one case,
and
where
they're so far down in the mix too.
And that's the one case where it wasn't a live song and they kept my live acoustic guitar because I just felt it. But yeah, it's kind of nuts. But
That's awesome. I guess the last thing on the guitar, kind of nerding out, because this does affect tone as well too. But like, what strings do you play with? What gauge?
Yeah, I have. I play with the Martin S. I'm just looking at them to make sure I have it right. I play with the Martin SP, Martin R. These. What are
nice.
they?
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah, the SPs.
Yeah, these are the SPs. Yeah, but I know I traditionally have done phosphor bronze, the light.
Yep.
But these are the mediums. Lately, I've put mediums on just to see, and yeah, I like those. But also, I get them for free, so I kind of the Martin guy just sends them to me. So
nice.
I'm down to have to try other ones too, but these are just easy.
Hey.
But I do that, and then pick up. Here's the thing: people don't realize that the pick is a big deal.
Yes.
And you can't see this is it's black, but it's the it's the Tortix thing. The Dunlop Tortix, and they are .88s.
Oh, okay. A little bit thicker.
Yeah, they're a little thicker.
Are you a heavy-handed strummer?
Yes. Well, they're the Jim. I'm nerding. This is like me really nerding out. Like
let's go.
I'm just kind of.
This is what we want.
I'm halfway there with Star Wars and all that, but this is where I really.
Yeah.
So it's these, yes, and it's the 88.
Oh, yeah.
I don't strum normal like hold it with the point. I turn it to the side and hit it like that.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That's a thick tone.
And it helps too because I don't strum too hard either. But I do a lot of picking, and just kind of. And I love the way it just. I feel like it gives the best tone and gives it rich. And it's not like Phil. He plays Phil Wickham. Name drop.
Yeah.
Sorry. He. I'm about to go on tour with him, so I know that. He's in the forefront of my thought. He does a lot of fast strumming and just that stuff. So he plays with a thin pick because you just kind of have to if you're doing all that. And I noticed that because we'll do acoustic things together, and I'm like, I actually will bring a thin pick with me for his songs when we're playing together because they're faster and he's agility. Just to give me more room. So, but now we're really geeking out. But hey, I got my capo right here. G7.
Oh, your G7.
Capo.
Yes, there we go.
Got a little custom Baldwin on there.
That's amazing. This is just one giant like commercial for guitar stuff.
It says one giant commercial. You know what's funny? I've been using G7th for years.
Oh, I love those capos.
Since they came out. And the cool thing is, back when I was living in Charlotte, and I was just a worship leader at this little church, but I was a part of this ministry that it's called Morning Star, and they had a big reach in the UK. And G7th is from the UK, from England. And those guys that started G7th, they're believers, and they used to watch our like Morning Star and stuff, and they started sending me G7 capos back 15, 20 years ago, and that I wasn't. So cool. They didn't know who. I mean, nobody knew who I was. I mean, I wasn't anybody, but I was getting free capos, and
nice.
And I didn't know at the time. I didn't know like how awesome they would be, but I was like, these guys are sending me capos, like. And then now they're like amazing, and they're probably the most
best
expensive
capo out there.
Yeah,
but they're worth it.
They're worth it. And I was just in England a few weeks ago for a big church festival, and I've been emailing with Simon, the guy who runs it, for years, and we finally got to meet each other in person, and it was really sweet. Cool. He came to the worship night I was doing, and it was just sweet. They believed in me and knew about me, but when no one did. So,
oh, that's awesome.
It was awesome.
Shout out to Simon, G7. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, speaking of tours, you just came off of a tour in England. Or was that just a one-time thing?
I did a couple things. Yeah, just a big church festival. Just did that. But then I'm about to jump on an Air One tour, Air One Worship Nights tour with Phil Wickham and Charity Gale, who's amazing, and then Benjamin William Hastings. So that'll be awesome. And then
that sounds awesome.
It'd be a fun night. I think we're doing a lot together, and then we're each going to kind of do our own thing. And then in November, we're doing another run of the Made for More tour. That's great. And that'll be Mostly in Florida. If you live in Florida, we're doing 4 shows.
Yeah.
But then I think we have 2 in Pennsylvania too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You got
Yeah.
one, I believe, Mannheim or.
Yeah, Mannheim.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll be going to that one in November.
Oh, cool.
To see you.
Yeah. Well, that's my
Excited
family
about
will
that.
be there. My
No way.
wife, my wife's family. My wife is from Chambersburg, and so
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chambersburg.
I think
That's great.
all of her
Middle
fam-
of the state.
yeah, I think her whole family is coming to Mannheim. I think her and the
Sweet.
kids might fly up there, and we'll do the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Shout
Yeah.
out to the Pennsylvanians.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Fellow
the,
PA people.
The Made for More tour is mostly hitting Pennsylvania and Florida, and then Birmingham, Alabama. That's it. So, yeah,
Nice. Just random spot right in the middle
random
there.
spot. You know what? I'm not built for long tours, and so I just when I say I'm doing a tour, it's like we're doing 7 nights. That's it, and
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but-
that's a tour.
yeah, it's
But
a
yeah,
tour.
and it's tough with family too. You got family, you got
Yeah.
responsibilities, so that makes sense.
Yeah, we try to be pretty intentional about how much we say yes to and say no to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been good.
No, is it difficult, do you think, to kind of balance that, being out on the road versus being back at home, recording
yeah.
obligations, things like that?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's easy to. It's I mean, all the things. It's easy. It's you want to make sure you're like home and not gone too much, especially in this season. My daughter turns 14 on Friday. My son is
man.
12. He'll be 13 in November. So like, it's harder at this age than it was when they were even like little, because
Yeah.
now they're like, they know when I'm gone and they know how much I'm gone and how much I'm
Yeah.
home. And I don't want to miss these years as much as maybe more so than any, like these
Well, yeah.
teenage
They're
years
super
and high
formative.
school. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to be gone a lot. And then even just in marriage, it's, it's obviously vital to not be gone too much, but just, I think for me, it helps me not burn out. Like I've to be gone a lot and then come home and then like I'm doing writing and working towards recording and all these things. It's just, it can get to be too much and
Yeah.
something's going to suffer, and I would love for nothing to suffer. I would love for it all to be,
Yeah.
to be in a healthy spot. So yeah, I say no a lot. So
Yeah, no, that's good, man. Having boundaries and just knowing how to balance things well. I mean, the whole thing with Force and
Yeah.
oh man, sorry, I had to bring Star Wars back into it again because I'm just a massive nerd. But yeah, just balance is just such a huge thing. And when you have a family, when you have kids, I have kids that are similar ages too, 13 and 11, and it's just like I used to travel. Well, I still travel a lot for work, and it's tough because when they're younger, you feel bad because you're like missing moments, right, with them as they're little, and you feel bad for leaving your wife with all the responsibility.
Yeah.
And you're like, when they're older, it'll be much better. And then they get older, and you're just like, wait, they're actually they're wanting to talk to me still.
No,
So
totally.
like they're gonna get to that ornery teenager stage where they don't want to talk to dad anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, soak these moments up right now when you can.
No, totally. When they're younger, I don't think they fully realize like how long I was gone or how much. But now now they do. Now it's not just your wife that knows how long you're gone. You have 2 more. And so
For sure.
yeah, it's important to be home.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, Josh, this has been a great conversation. I just want to give
thanks
you
for
a
having me.
chance to, man, thanks for being on the inaugural episode of Rogue
first
Worship
one.
Podcast. First one, the OG. And just give us a couple things that you have coming up. We talked about the tour. We talked a little bit about the EP. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? That's part
gosh.
1.
That's part.
Right? So
It's
there's
volume
another one
1
coming.
There-
Volume 1, yeah.
That's my hopes. I did that just to trick Bethel into let me do more. No, there are more coming. I'm not sure when. Maybe in a year or 2, year and a half, something like that. I'm starting to work on the next like full length album, the next worship album. So I'm writing and planning that, and we'll probably record that next year, sometime first of next year, and maybe come out in another year. So that's a thing. Just doing the Full Grown Man is out now. And then those tours that I'm jumping on, and then we'll see next year. Always planning and dreaming and talking, but nothing to talk about yet. But yeah, there's
there's
probably
plenty going on.
more, probably another Bethel live album coming too. I
Nice.
think maybe start recording for that
Sweet.
in end of the year, first of next year. So yeah.
Yeah, well, good to know that there's more worship music coming from Josh Baldwin, from Bethel. That's awesome. Us baritones will make sure you put in a few in there for us.
Yeah, I will. Between me and Brian,
thanks,
there'll be some low singing around there.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man, for sitting down with me today and just nerding out, hanging out, having a good time, talking about just random stuff. I loved it.
That's awesome. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.